Welcome to Paperweights, the podcast where two self-proclaimed gym rats and shooting enthusiasts delve into the world of literature with a sprinkle of humor. Although their biceps could crush a walnut, don't let that intimidate you. They also have a nerdy side. Mike and Brandon have a voracious appetite for reading, particularly in the fantasy genre, and they want to share their passion with you. So grab your protein shake and your favorite novel and join us for a humorous and insightful journey into the world of books with Paperweights.
Welcome back to another episode of the Paperweights. I am your host, Brandon.
And Justin.
All right. Well, Justin, since last we spoke, my grandfather passed away at shortly after 9 p.m. on New Year's Day. So my grandparents are joined again together. And next week I'll be out there, and it'll be a double funeral. So, but
I'm guessing we're taking a week off the podcast, or have you thought about it at all?
no, we should still be able to record.
Yeah.
I'll get with you on the time, but we'll be able to record.
Okay. But if you need to take your time, don't hesitate.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm good. There's going to be a whole lot of people out there. I'm going to be staying with a friend instead of family because there's more family coming into town. Um, so,
That's Texas.
yep, Texas, Dallas area. So. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm staying with a friend who he used to do jiu-jitsu over here. He moved away. So I'll be staying with him. We're gonna go train some jiu-jitsu one of those days. Hell, I might even decide to just that Saturday take a drive up to the National Video Game Museum in Frisco, which I've been to before, and it's like I think it's like $10 admission. It's cheap admission, but you also get $2 worth of tokens for the uh, arcade at the museum. So they got this
That's
like
cool.
I think it's like a 25 by 25 room, or maybe a little bit bigger. And it's just packed with coin operated arcade games. But it's a really cool place. They have the owners most of it was like a private collection of a bunch of old like computers and consoles and gaming systems throughout the years. So they had like one of the largest collections, and they even have a couple of one of a kind prototypes of certain things there.
Cool.
And
What?
it's
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, what's your go-to arcade game?
oh man, arcade games. I tend to like when I think of arcade games, I think of like Ninja Turtles side scrolling, Battletoads, Ninja Turtles, Streets of Rage type games. Of course, one that comes to mind a lot is that Simpsons game. But whenever I was young, I wasn't allowed to play it. I think they had one at Celebration Station here in town. And I just remember my parents never gave me enough tokens to play uh, any appreciative amount of time.
Yeah, I always think of Area 51
Oh,
for arcade games, like in the arcades. Just because it's a game, you couldn't really have as a console. They probably made a console version of it, but it was always fun. We used to have one in one of the movie theaters. I think it was Tinseltown had it.
and what about the was it uh
Yeah, Time Splitters.
Time Splitters, I think it was with the
Yeah, that
with the
was
guns,
cool.
the red and blue
Yeah.
guns. Yeah. Those are fun. Like, and I think it was a few years ago. I forget what game it was, but Thomas and I we went to go see a movie, and we were playing in the arcade before the one in Gonzales has an arcade, and we just like I just had enough tokens to just keep playing, and we beat whatever game it was. Um, that you each had a gun. But yeah, uh, briefly back to the museum, they have it set up throughout time. So like you'll have like when you first walk in, there's this giant Pong game, and then it starts to go through like from the early 50s or 60s or whatever, and through the ages, and they have all these like old computer systems that still operate, um, set up with certain games that you can play, and then into the console area, the handheld area. Um, I spent 3 hours there the last time, the time I went with Jules, and I wasn't even done yet, but Jules was bored, and so she wanted to go, so we just went into the arcade and then we left. So plenty to do, but might go do that and get my mind off things for a little bit
Yeah,
before
that'll
things
be
get heavy.
yeah, that'll be fun.
So yeah, so that's what I got coming up. Um, you have anything coming up?
And nothing so grim, just chilling and working probably for a little bit. Nothing, no trips or anything coming up. I know we have something for you in a couple of months, but that'll be
Yeah, we'll be celebrating my
April.
40th birthday.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
Other than that, I don't really have anything on the horizon.
yeah, I don't have anything until then. I mean, so this month, my wife and I's anniversary is in January, so we will be
Congrats.
celebrating 12 years this year of being married.
Time flies.
Yeah. And then in February, it's all three of our birthdays. So, um, and then after that, not too much. So, but uh all right. This podcast is sponsored by Mudcat Whiskers, Louisiana local beard care product company. They sell mm, a plethora of um, good use of that word, a plethora
Good work.
of beard care products, including beard wash, conditioner, oil, balm, and butter. And they come in a variety of fragrances, including unscented for those that are sensitive to certain fragrances or are into hunting and you want to keep your beard looking nice and sharp while you're in the woods, but you don't want the smell to drift down wind and scare away your potential prey. Um, but if you're not into beards and beard products, they do have candles as well that come in a variety of scents. They will make your house smell amazing. And so you can visit them at www.mudcatwhiskers.com and use code paperweights at checkout, and you will save yourself 15% because who doesn't like saving money?
That one.
Nobody does. That's why we all want to spend it on Coach bags and Teslas and yachts.
Yeah,
I know you bought your yacht already, huh?
of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Your great grandchildren will still be paying that one off.
Yeah, they'll be happy though.
Just pass it down in line.
Yeah, it's positive.
You inherited debt. Oh crap.
You can do, I think, student loans, right? You inherit that.
Yes, student loans.
Yeah,
Death does not relinquish you of your contract to repay that. So
yeah,
your next of kin will take on your student debt to pay the government back. So
pretty fucked, but
right. But hey, I paid off mine a few years ago. So
congrats.
happy with that. Don't have that looming over.
Still working through mine.
And most people do. So
Yeah, not too
uh,
bad.
all right,
All right.
let's get into the rhythm of war.
Rhythm of War.
Not to be
How'd you?
confused with the rhythm of love, which is a Scorpions song.
Hmm. Yeah, I think Brandon Sanderson ripped off the Scorpion.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're gonna rip off an '80s ballad, metal ballad band, uh, I don't think there's many more, I don't think there are many that are better to do than Scorpions.
Yeah. So how are you feeling now that you completed part two?
Um, it, I've read it before, but there's a lot that I do not remember at all. I mean, I knew the tower got occupied. Uh, I am liking it. I am anxious to get back into those details. Um, and because I remember nothing um, of Raboniel and Navani, but I am looking forward to that and seeing how they interact and what they discover. Um,
Yeah, same.
I really
Yeah,
like Raboniel as a character.
yeah, she's cool. I like it. Only blemish is Kaladin pisses me off this section, but he does that a lot, so it's not
He pisses
surprising.
you off every section, Justin.
More this section, but part three I'm very interested in because there's a surprise addition in the POVs. One
Oh,
person that is dead.
Ash and I.
Yeah, so maybe that's only the flashbacks, which would be weird to have a flashback with a dead person. So I guess we'll see. Maybe she's alive. Maybe she's gonna bond, fuse into somebody, and be like, "What's up? I took over this guy's body. The sisters are back." Maybe we'll see. That's really fun. We get Renarin too. So um, yeah. So next part's gonna be fun. This part was good though. I enjoy all the Adolin stuff. I enjoy mostly all the tower stuff. It's really interesting. It
Oh,
made me rush through this reading because I was like, I need to know what happens.
yeah. Before we dig deeper, I wanted to mention we are planning, we don't have all the details yet, but we are planning something for our 100th episode. Um, we should be, it looks like we'll be finishing up the Stormlight Archives with episode 97 or 98. And then um, we have to figure out which book we want to do, um, and whether it'll span two episodes or what. But we're going to line up another Sanderson book for episode 100, and we are planning some type of giveaway. We don't have the details yet, but I'm kind of excited about that to celebrate the
Hmm.
milestone of 100 episodes.
Yeah.
So
Well, you could maybe do like a special like all since we have read all of the Stormlight, we could do like a big huge like recap and like our favorite parts and like go over our characters. We could do that instead of like a book.
I'd have to I'd have to go through all my notes,
Yeah.
yeah, or reread everything.
Or reread everything.
Yeah. Let's reread. I'm gonna reread everything in 2 weeks, and then we'll discuss what I like the most.
Or we could do like a big like we could do like a big episode long theory craft for 6 through 10 since we'll have read all of Stormlight right now.
That would be interesting.
If we didn't want to do a book, we could do a book too. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned to you,
Sunlight
Summit
Man.
Man is a fun one, but it would be really interesting to do Way of Kings Prime, which is not canon, and he has since cannibalized parts of it for um, obviously for
Sunlight.
Stormlight, and then he put some other things into other places as well. But it would be fun to compare his first draft, his first thoughts of Way of Kings
That'd be fun.
versus what came up.
What is it just available online?
I think it's actually free on his site. Let's see. Um, yeah, so yeah, there's a download link. Um, Yeah, there's a download link from brandonsanderson.com for a PDF. So,
Okay.
um, I know I have a hardback copy coming because I backed the um, Kickstarter for Words of Radiance, and I added that in as
Do you know how long it is? See, I'm just gonna download
let's
it.
see. I have it downloaded here.
It's
Uh,
815 pages. All right.
oh, you already found downloaded it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't click there, but
Like,
I know I have it downloaded. I don't want to download it again because I have it downloaded. But you said 816 pages.
yeah. Some of it's like, you know, no, there's another map. This is fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're looking at, but
I'm looking at the map, sorry. Like Alethkar is in the center of it, and below it, like to the south of Alethkar is Yakaved. And there's some other stuff that I don't realize, like recognize. There's like Thalena's is still there. Yeah, all right. I'm down for this.
oh yeah, look at that. The 10 Epoch Kingdoms. Hey, and then there's the double I. It gives some interesting information. Yeah, that would be fun.
Chapter one starts with Dalinar.
Spelled very differently, or
Yeah.
mildly differently.
All right. Well, before we go down that rabbit hole,
Hey,
yeah,
let's just read it on the podcast.
yeah, we can make our own audiobook of it, right?
Yeah.
I I I like that. I think that'll be a fun 100th episode.
Yeah. So
And
maybe
then at
we'll
the
split it into two. So we'll do 99 and then 100. We'll be
yeah,
completing it.
yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah.
And then we'll ask a question at the end. Which one is better? It'd be really funny if Way of Kings Prime is just ridiculously better than Way of Kings. We're like, what? Why does this? Why did it change so much? I doubt that, but it'd be funny.
Yeah. All right. Let's
Start.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. We can begin with chapter 35, The Strength of a Soldier. This is an Adolin and Shallan chapter. This chapter we get to see how badass Adolin is. But basically they just got back. They're like from seeing the star sprint and stuff. And they're like, oh, the people that are following us are breaking away. That's weird. I guess they weren't gonna attack us. All right, that's kind of cool. And then Adolin's like, oh shit, they're gonna go attack the honor sprint. And he like gets on Gallant. And it's like go, and then he starts galloping away, and everybody else is like, what? And they try to rush after him. And then we get some Shallan, and she's like, um, she sees Adolin sprint by, and she's like, all right, let's go, and then they're all following him, basically. Um, and then this is when, importantly enough, she leaves. She confirms that the cube has not been moved, and then she sets pattern to watch everything. Come up important later. Then we get Adolin, and he basically sees that the humans have been attacked the honor sprint, and they're like fucking him up. So like to break him, basically. That's how like they kill him or can do something with him. And he basically barges in and has a really cool fight. Um, he's like, they won't. They're not used to battle, so if I savagely kill like four of them, we'll break their spirit. And he like starts murking them with its great sword. It's really cool. In the fight, Maya like goes back to back with him, and she's like kind of mimicking some of the moves that she taught Lyle. Um, it's not going good, but eventually, basically, he gets like stabbed and shit. He gets fucked up. Eventually, like the rest of the people come and he's like saves the day, basically. Um, and then he's like, all right, we're gonna heal this honor sprint. It's kind of weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the I thought the battle was pretty fun, and it just kind of, I think it highlighted a little bit that it doesn't, when you have numbers, it doesn't matter much how much training you have versus the one person you're ganging up on, or when you outnumber somebody. Um, there's kind of an attrition that goes on, and just the idea of fighting. Like, if you get surrounded, you're screwed. So if you're ever in a fight, don't get surrounded. Try not to get in fights with more than one person at a time, for
So
one.
don't pick a fight with 20 people.
Yes, don't pick a fight with 20 people in an open area. Um, I mean, I guess having your back up against the wall isn't even better. Try to do it in one room where there's a narrow doorway and you can filter them in one by one. That would be the best way to fight 20 people.
Yeah.
Um,
Do the 300 strategy, narrow pass.
yes, yes, that is highly effective. But yeah, it was fun seeing Maya um, come and do the kata with him back to back. Um, but yeah, overall, not too much. I was reminded it was Uapam, the Spren Uapam, who belongs to Zoo, I think it is, was the one that told Adolin about the viewing of the star Spren. Uh, so credit to Uapam for that. And then the name Gadecki, I watched a little bit of the last Saints game, and I think it's a Tampa Bay Buccaneers player. His last name's Gadecki, and so it just spelled slightly different, Goedeke. But I was like, hey, Gadecki, an edge dancer playing football.
And football.
I mean,
He would be the best football player ever.
he would. It's just like,
You have to turn it off of his hands to grab the ball, but other than that,
yeah, you wouldn't be able to get tackled unless you couldn't stay on your feet. But
I mean, you couldn't do the lift stuff because if you got touched with your knee on the ground, you'd be down. But you could just like sprint through everybody. It'd be ridiculous.
almost like skating. It's just like
Yeah,
skating. So, but anytime anybody would touch you, they
and,
would just slide off.
and a quarterback could like do it as he's releasing the ball to like throw it super far. Like get rid of the friction on the ball, just chuck it like 100 yards or something.
I don't understand how people can chuck a ball 65, 70 yards through the air. Like, I mean, the arc is more yards than that because it goes high up in the air and then comes down, but it traveled uh, horizontally or laterally.
What's what's the story with Jamarcus Russell? He's able to like throw it from the 50 through the goalpost on his knees.
Yeah, and there's something ridiculous about when he was on his butt too.
Yeah. Too bad he was not a good work ethic. Jesus.
This is off topic, but since we're talking about Jamarcus Russell, it was hilarious whenever we went on our honeymoon in Boston. The concierge at the front desk, he was a big LSU football fan. He was from out of country, but whenever we were leaving, he said, "Hey, if you ever run into Jamarcus Russell, uh, tell him he sucks or something." I was like, all right. I don't think I'm gonna run into him. I ran into him once on LSU campus at lunch in the Union before. So
Yeah, I never saw him in the wild. But it also means this also just going back to the book, because Jamarcus Russell is not in this book, weirdly enough. Um, it does mean
very
that
strange.
the Herald is sending people to Shadesmore to like attack spread, which is really interesting.
You
Is
think
it?
you think
Because
it's
well, they're
him?
Tukari, right? And he's the god emperor of Tukar, so it'd
Yeah,
have to be. I'm guessing
could be.
because he would know how to get to Shadesmore and like stuff like that. Unless they're not actually Tukari.
Yeah, unless, if they are Chikari, then it makes sense. And we already know that some of the heralds are crazy. And like, who was it that said you shouldn't trust the heralds and should kill them?
Yeah.
Didn't somebody suggest that?
Yasna, I think, wanted to kill them so the cycle would repeat again, which makes sense. But
So
and
they
like
go back
and
and then
yeah,
the Oath
and
Pact
they're
fight
yeah,
restart?
the Earth Pact. Well, they can't do that anymore now that what's his face is dead.
Honor?
Yeah, no,
Uh, Yezereza?
Yazreza got Muash killed.
Yeah, that is Yezereza, huh?
I think so.
It's,
Yeah,
it's Ash's father.
father. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But Dalinar should be able to rebuild some type of oath at some
Yeah,
point,
could be.
or whoever has that oath, that honor blade.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, yeah, and I don't think it was this, but they they weren't making him. Oh my god, uh, I
Deadeye?
Deadeye though, right? Were they
No,
trying to? Yeah,
no.
I thought for a second like that they made the other one Deadeye. I thought that was gonna be the reveal for a second, but it wasn't.
Yeah, no. I
So they
think
were like, yeah, I don't think that's it.
yeah. I did like also enjoyed Gallant getting in on the intimidation and in the fight kind of. Just kind of making some intimidating noises. So
Sad that they can't find the dude's horse anymore. So you have to find another horse friend because it ran off in the fight.
ah,
Yeah,
rest in peace, Spren horse Spren.
yeah. Oh well. Yeah, cool chapter, good fight. Um, Adwin just a badass, as we know.
Yeah.
We can move on to chapter 36, The Price of Honor. This is a Shalon and Adolin POV.
About
Pretty sure.
350.
Yep, yep. I'm pretty sure this is the last of their POVs. Pretty sure. But either way. Um, so there's the aftermath of the fight with
For the
Shalon.
entire book, you're saying?
No, for this section.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's nothing after Adolin terms of it. Pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Yeah. So Shalon is they're healing everybody and stuff from all the stuff. They're like, we're gonna bring the honor sprint Nodum to the last territory because he's messed up. He's like, no, they're not gonna let me in. Like, I'm exiled. It's kind of the thing. Then they are Shalon's like checking stuff. She goes to check the cube and realizes it's been touched. She realizes that Pattern is the spy, and she like freaks out. Um, he's been with her all her life basically, so if she's an instrument of the ghost buds. It does make sense. It's very sad. Um, we don't really get any resolution to this. She's like kind of freaks out and like goes away. Um, Not what I thought. Just fun. I do like it that it means all the light weavers that we like are, not bad guys. Unless there's a double spy, which I guess could be it. Um, so my idea of one of the non-light weavers being the bad guy was proven false. So that theory is slashed. Um, yeah.
That
So
theory is now a dead eye.
yeah.
Oh, theory of a dead eye.
Ooh,
Hey,
yeah.
that could be like a Stormlight themed rock band?
Yeah, I
Because isn't there's a band called Theory of Dead Man, right?
think so.
Yeah.
Sounds like a band. Theory of a Deadeye sounds like an emo band though.
Well, I mean,
Not
emo is rock. Um,
sure.
yeah, but Theory of a Dead Eye, there you go.
Yeah. All right, you can still make it, Brandon. You can be a rock star. Just all Stormlight themed emo songs.
Be a rock sprint.
There you go.
Rock star sprint.
We already have that. They're peak sprint.
Peak sprint. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um. So then we get to Adolin, and basically they go up to Last in Integrity. They're like, "You can't come in," and he's like, "Well, I'm here to answer for the sins of everybody, and guess what? You have to judge me because you're honor sprint." And they're like, "Okay, fine. You compelled us," and they imprison him basically.
Yeah,
And
so
then Shalon, Maya, Adolin, and Pattern. I think are the right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he chooses Shalon, Pattern, and Maya to enter in. And Adolin is put into shackles. So if anybody has watched um, Star Trek: A New Generation, essentially this is the beginning of that show. Q is taken Adolin to trial for the crimes of humanity, and Adolin must prove himself that humanity is not evil.
Just for any commenters, it's next generation. Just don't bother with any emails or comments, but you can still comment below in any like YouTube or anything. But yes, I correct Brandon. It's next generation.
What did
You
did
said
I say?
new
New
generation.
generation?
Yeah,
Oh, I I have a lot going on right now,
it's fine. I
so
I just want everybody to know we know our Star Trek somewhat.
yes. Star Trek TNG.
TNG.
Yes. Good old Captain Picard.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be kind of fun if Q shows up and then the lesson integrity and say, "What's up, Picard?"
I love Q.
Yeah.
Um,
Adolin interacting with Q would be pretty fun.
yes. I think Shalon and Q would um, basically have a battle of wits. Can you imagine Shalon, Q, and Wit?
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
That would be very interesting. It'd be
I
a
mean, Wit is kind of Q if you think about it.
true. You are true.
He's a god that kind of doesn't give a fuck and knows everything, and just kind of goes and messes with people,
Yeah. But at the same time, so I can't
and
remember. I
then
know
kind of does stuff.
Q Q has the power to like do a whole bunch of stuff, but he does never like actually destroys anything as far as I recall.
Yeah,
He shows up to threaten and do a whole bunch of stuff at a bunch of times. I know he showed up in Voyager a lot.
yeah, because you can't actually break a lot of stuff, or else you continuum will come and like chain him away, which kind of happens a lot. There's that one episode where he turns human, and it's really funny. He's like, "This is awful. How do you all deal with it?" Uh,
I like
yeah,
John Delancey. He's
yeah, he's too old now to play Q in the live action or play Wit in the live action, but he would be perfect.
yeah. Um, oh, one thing I was going to mention is so Gadecki was kind of like when they show up, he insisted on like burying the dead. I don't know how you bury them in Shazmar, but
It's just pile.
beads on top of them, put them
Yeah,
down at the bottom of the bead ocean. That's where you sink anyway. Just throw the corpse in there. It'll be piled on top of a bunch of beads of real world objects. But yeah, he insisted on remembering them. And he's like, look, we don't know their story. They could have just been confused people. They could have been like duped into doing something or whatever. We don't have the information, but you know, let's remember the dead and then move on.
Do you think like Rotspren will come and like eat the dead?
Um,
I wonder what Rotspren and Shades are like. They're probably really crazy looking.
I feel like they would smell bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one other thing is Notum was like telling him was like how he was just in disbelief that Maya was able to do things. Um, and like learn to do things and then is able to make choices. And Adolin told him was like, maybe you need to rethink what you know about Deadeyes. So I think Adolin is going to make everybody rethink uh, what they know about Deadeyes, and Adolin is going to be Aragorn leading the
The Ghost
Army of the
Army.
Dead. Yeah,
All
Army
right.
of the Deadeyes. I have come to fulfill your oath.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, they're
That
obviously
would
set.
work. Even the
Yeah,
wording.
yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, they're obviously setting up that like Adolin and Maya are gonna be what convinces the Honor Sprint to like come back. Unless they fail, which would be really interesting. But I don't know. Yeah, I will say I retroactively like Wit more if I just think of him as Q.
Keep thinking of him as Q.
I'm gonna think of him as Q. And just John Delancey shows up whenever Wit's there. And he may or may not be having sex with Yasna.
And in this case, Yasna would be
Uh
Captain.
Dana Troy, right?
No,
No,
Captain Janeway.
yeah.
Did you just go, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah. Janeway is fine. She's the worst of the three captains, but or the four captains.
Even worse than what was it, Enterprise?
I don't count. I mean, I meant like true 90s ones because I think Enterprise is 2000s, right? Whatever. It
Yeah,
doesn't really
I
matter.
think it started in 99.
I should watch that, but I didn't like it when I first watched it. But it's probably better than modern Trek.
I still need to finish Deep Space Nine. I've probably watched all of Next Generation, but not recently. I know recently I did watch through all of Voyager. Uh,
I like Voyager.
I like Voyager too. Deep Space Nine, it's almost like a soap opera feel to me.
Where are you at? It takes a turn.
Right. I am in season three, so like
Okay,
the
yeah.
Dominion is coming.
Yeah.
So they're just getting into the Dominion, and I know the rest of it is about them fighting the Dominion.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, that's where I'm at. But then it got taken off of Netflix, but now I have
Mhm.
Paramount, so I do have access to it. Thanks to Walmart Plus subscription, you get Paramount Plus.
Hey, we're not sponsored.
We aren't sponsored by them, but
You have to pay for that type of plug.
yes.
But yeah, since this is the last we'll see of them, really cool cliffhanger to leave off on. I'm guessing we're gonna get more of patterns like origin story and like him with Ghost Bloods or whatever or something like that. Um, we're gonna meet Ristaris, which is gonna be cool. And then we're gonna have Adon and Maya like becoming sentient again and stuff like that. So look forward to all that. Next thing. We do not get man, we might not get a part three though. Because we have neither Shalon or Ado in part three. So maybe part four they'll appear. Because there's nobody in Shazamar in the next PV sections. So that's potentially the last we'll see of them for a long time. Like
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I mean, we have to uh
Deal with the Earth probably.
yeah, reconcile the or rec resolve. There you go. There's the word, R word. Um, that R word, not that R word, but the R word I was looking for. Resolve the uh, occupation of Urithiru.
Yeah, the war is over. Or
It's
is
not over.
it would it be if it wasn't for Navani Kalin, who's our preview person for this one.
Yeah.
Chapter 37, Silence from the Dead. We get Navani, Vinley, and Kaladin. So they're all in Eritrea except for Vinley, who's coming to Eritrea. Navani is checking out our scholars and stuff. The dude made it the box into a glove, and she had like floats of box and stuff. So they're getting very close to making Iron Man, but they haven't made him yet. Really reminded me of the scene in Iron Man 1 where he has that like one glove and he's like floating around on it. So that was fun. Um, yeah. Navani is Tony Stark. She basically is, which is kind of cool. Um, yeah. So they're talking and then somebody bursts in and is like, hey, we found this dude who was trying to replace a ruby on the span reed that she had like deliberately left out to like catch a person. It turns out it's David, who people don't remember. He's the guy that got battle shock and basically lost his mind in the first one of the first couple of battles in book one. So he's just been kind of sticking around. You like give water to people and stuff, but
He was like what the second person that Kaladin saved?
first or second, one of them
Yeah. No, I think it's the second because the first one
was
was who was it?
Maps. Was it Maps that died?
No, no. I'm
Or
pretty sure the first person he saved is somebody that's still alive.
was it Teft?
It might have been Teft.
Yeah.
Teft, I want to say it was Teft or Sigil.
Yeah, something like that.
I really think it was one of them. Um,
I know he saved Maps, but Maps dies. I know he saves Dad, but he saves a lot of people. Um, but yeah, so he's kind of been in the background since book one. So it's interesting to see that the sibling has been speaking through him, basically. Um,
and he's been missing. Like Kaladin and Teft have been looking for
yeah.
David.
So seems to be a recent development. Basically, we'll probably find out more how she's like possessing him or just talking to him. Because you can talk to Navani later in the thing, so maybe she's just talking to him. Um,
Well, he he found out when if he touches the veins on the wall, he can hear the sibling talk.
that's right, yeah.
So,
But can't the sibling talk to Navani without that? I think so.
uh, I
Without direct contact.
I don't know. It,
I thought that
I
like she did it, and then like she was doing other stuff and hearing the sibling talk to her. Like she got the connection by touching it.
Yeah, maybe she did. There's some connection that after the initial contact, where she can talk to him. I mean, because the sibling is basically living throughout the tower.
Yeah, so she's always in contact with it,
Yeah.
and she's a bondsmith now. We'll see, but yeah. So they're like, oh shit, and then they're like, oh shit, an explosion happened. So it makes you think that the attack is on, but it's not that. It's a little bait and switch action. You get some little bit of Vinley.
We didn't uh so we didn't actually find out in this chapter that it was David.
Yeah, but
It left off with a cliffhanger
well,
about who it was because like they caught the servant leaving a new spannery, but he isn't talking.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So I jumped the gun a
and
little
then
bit.
and then then a different spannery comes that has a message about explosions and dead. Uh, so
Um,
when we come next chapter is
yeah, and then
find out.
yeah, and then we get this chapter that Calvin's looking for David. So it's a little convoluted. I jumped the gun a little bit, but yeah.
That's fine.
Um, yeah, basically we get a little bit of Vinley. The Everstorm's hitting. They're like, making their way to attack the thing. Um, they're like, they're like, a sibling lives, and we must, uh, uh we're gonna attack. Basically, we get some, we get a lot of different types of guys, or singers. This fight, we get the masked ones. We get the dudes that can go through the ground, which are scary as shit. They're all cool. So just
Yeah, that fight in the hallway where they're just in the wall and they just
yeah,
reach out and they
yeah,
like,
crazy.
oh my God, that would freak me out. Like,
Yeah, those we find out later, but those guys are basically going through the ground and just like killing all the sentries. So there's really nothing happening. Which is pretty cool. Um,
yeah.
then
And so as they're approaching, though, like it's interesting that the masked one's powers aren't working with how the tower is currently, but the deepest ones, their powers work. Um, and in a little while, we're gonna find out that the fused actually only have one surge. Like each fused brand only has one surge instead of two, like the radiants do.
yeah, and or if if it's like Kaladin, like they have more investiture, and that's why the deepest ones can like do their stuff. And
Maybe. I was also slightly confused when Lith's chapter interlude began too, but
yeah,
get there in a little bit.
that chapter is weird. Um, we'll get to that later. Um, yeah, so we get some Kaladin. Kaladin's like, "Hey, I discovered therapy," and Laren's like, "What? You discovered therapy? That's crazy." Um, he's basically, "Why did we never think of this?" And he's like, "I don't know." It's, it's kind of funny. And then he's like, "All right, guess what? The tower's not going to get attacked, and the rest of this book is going to be about me defining the rules of therapy." And Laren's like, "That's cool." And yeah, then they're like, "Hey, where's David?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let's go find him." And that's kind of that. They go with Relaine. They go find Relaine. They're like, "Hey, where's David?" Basically. Let me get some Vinley.
Oh, Kaladin also wants is he like he's thinking about trying to go talk to Dalinar to see if they could change the like get a requisition like a religious requisition or appointment for excuse me, a religious appointment for doctors to learn how to read
Yeah,
so that it's when Liren learns to read, he's not outside of the societal norm of men not being able to read. Because we know Ardents are allowed to, and then of course Dalinar is allowed to because he said, "I'm the king,
he's allowed to be. Yeah.
I'm the king, and I'm going to do this."
He
Like
is still excommunicated from the church.
he is absolutely excommunicated from the church.
It is interesting that they
He's
never
Henry VIII.
basically. I created a religion so I can read. It's kind of funny. Instead of divorcing your wife to create a religion, you create a religion to read.
And right.
Yeah, right. It is interesting that there's no. I guess we don't. There probably is a um. Oh my god, religious sect of surgeons. What is the name of that? Ardents. There's probably ardents that
Ardents.
are surgeons.
Maybe.
Yes. 'Cause there's ardent. We now know there's ardents of mental health because they're really bad at it, but it just seems.
It's a pseudoscience sect of
Yeah. It's interesting that they never like folded this like doctors into their like ranks to like make them be better doctors and be able to read. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, but that plan is definitely going to happen. Because
Mhm.
nothing bad's fixing to occur. Um, yeah, basically, Villy and them are like, she's going through. There's all these dead bodies of the guys that the deepest ones have murdered. Um, and she's like, "Holy shit, this is pretty messed up." Because she, we kind of forget, but she never really saw battle. She was always kind of studying the forms and trying to get words of power, forms of power and stuff. So she never really fought. But she and Rebariel are like sitting there, and Rebariel's very interested in Vinley. So that relationship is really fun. Um, and Vinley's kind of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's kind of weird. I'm not really a fighter. I'm just kind of just chilling here. I kind of want to learn about the Radiants, but I think they're all gonna die, so I don't know. Should chill here.
Yeah, she doesn't want to kill humans either. But she did have to kill one in this situation. Rabonio was like, um, she realized, oh, it's your first time. Reminds me of that GIF of what's his Franco, James Franco, and he's about to be hung or hanged, and he looks over to somebody and goes, first time. Um, but no, there was I have a couple things to think about in this chapter. So Raboni, this one was kind of freaky. So Raboniel like prevents the scribe from sending a span read. So she's trying to get to the scribes that had the span reads to stop them before they can communicate back that they're being invaded. And she uses some type of weird magic here. And the quote goes, Raboniel yanked her blade free, then turned back toward the soldier who had pulled out his side knife. She breathed out toward him, and something black left her lips, something that sent the man stumbling away, clawing at his face. Um, so I don't know. She is known as the Lady of Whispers.
I mean, we do know that she's made chemical weapons before, so I'm guessing it's the chemical weapon she made. Maybe she like can extrude whatever she makes.
I don't. I thought of it as more of one of her a surge,
Yeah,
but I don't know what surge that would be.
we would have to go look back at the poems from book two. There was like a wasn't there like a
Shadow,
yeah some sort
shadow
of
form, smoke
shadow, yeah,
form.
something like that, yeah.
I think there was shadow and smoke form, but.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's probably one of those.
And then the other, this word Raucalest shows up. Like we're supposed to know what that is. So the ancient protections have not been maintained, the scout said. I can feel that the Raucalest has fallen from the walls of the tunnel below. How could they allow this oversight? I mean,
Yeah.
I assume it's like the magical protection.
Yeah, you're still here.
No, I know, but did you?
Yeah, I saw the flicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got. I was like magical protection, or maybe there's like another, or like maybe it's like their word for Erythera, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's for a year through, but I think it's that protection.
Yeah,
Um, so
maybe
maybe we'll get this word again and find out what it means.
maybe. We can move on to chapter 38, Rhythm of the Terrors. Set a brain fart there.
Some of the terrors.
Yes. The night is dark and full of terrors. Uh, but yeah, we get same crew of POVs, Navani, Vinley, and Paladin. Um,
Pretty much what we get for the
remainder
remainder.
basically. Um, she starts with Navani. She goes and sees what's up with the explosion. It is the dark sphere that Gabler had. They were like researching it. Last part, she like gave it to some researchers. Those researchers are now dead because they were messing with it and it blew up. And she's like, "Oh, that's crazy." So we'll get more on that probably. Um, then we cut to
And
Vinley.
she wants the room documented as it is, like remove the bodies but document everything that's still there so they can try to figure out what happened, what caused the explosion.
Yeah. Um, Vinley and all the people are basically they get to the large crystal pillar, and Rabonio's like, I will corrupt it, and she zaps some stuff. Uh, then we get to Kaladin, and they're they have a good talk with Verlaine about like his time in Bridgeport and stuff like that, and how they like you know did the whole desecration of the armor thing of the dead for the armor and all that stuff. And then they're like, "Hey, have you seen David?" And they're like, I don't think so. I think he said like he saw them like run off of or something. Um,
Yeah, it's like he hadn't seen him since the day before.
yeah, and yeah, and then
Kaladin
Kaladin,
mentioned like he wants David to join the therapy sessions,
yeah,
and he's like it'll help him, and they're like, how do you know? It's like, won't it help you too? And then he was like, oh yeah, you're right, I should go.
yeah. So Kaladin's gonna join his own therapy sessions. Um, but we'll see. That does not happen unless he's gonna talk to Tef's dead body. And then we get some Vinley and Roberto is like, whoa, I have done the first step. The tower's defenses are turned against the Radiants. Let's go kill everybody. That's kind of
Yeah. Well, as she's doing that, the tower resists like and alerts uh the humans of the invasion. So
well, yeah, that'd be next chapter, but yeah.
no, it's here. I wrote it happened in this chapter where she continues to feed the void light into the pillar, and the tower resists, and the humans are alerted to it. But then she finishes the first step, and then that's when uh,
Yeah.
she signals for them. But
But I mean,
humans
yeah.
are aware that they're being invaded.
Yeah, but like the sibling hasn't contacted through this family and all that shit yet. Which
Correct.
is when Navani uh learns that.
Right, but like an alert came out of the tower, like alerting that something was wrong. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't just write something down for the hell of it, but let's see. This is chapter 38.
Yeah.
Oh, she. Do, 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 do. Let's go to chapter 39.
Yeah, there's some like fighting and stuff.
Um, do, do,
Like
well, I mean, an alarm sounded from the corridor. The invasion had been noticed.
yeah.
So the tower was the yeah. Um, the tower was resisting her filling it with light, but then also there was an alarm that was sounded outside.
Yeah, that's the humans being like, oh shit, they're invading. It's not the
Okay,
tower.
yeah, there.
It's fine.
The tower did not send out an alert, but the guards, the scouts did.
It does send out an alert, but just later. Because it's like, hey, Navani, talk to me, we're being invaded.
Yeah.
She's like, what? Oh.
Mm.
Yeah. Chapter 39, Invasion. No Vinley this time. But basically, basically it's Kaladin. All the nice radiants like pass out except for him. Taft like passes out, a bunch of them pass out, and he's like, "What the hell?" And like, so like, can't really talk to him. He can't lash anything. But he's feeling a little weird, but he's able to move. And they get Navani. Um, let's see. Yeah, they go. now we find out it's Dabbit. Um, he motions to the wall to get her to like touch it.
And Kaladin actually thinks that this it's a seizure and
Yeah,
potentially from fire moss withdrawal, or that he was having a stroke.
yeah,
So
which makes sense. Um, and then like this is where Navani he like, hey, do the span raid. The span raid writes it's from the sibling. She's like, you stupid human, the tower is falling. And she's like, what? Um, then we get Kaladin. He's like kind of like, uh, what the hell's going on? Sill's not there, or Tef's Sprint's not there either. They see that a bunch of other like edge dancers are unconscious. Everybody's really messed up. Um, so yeah, you can still do full lashings that use the surge of adhesion. They can still do a little bit of stuff. Um, and
he doesn't have gravity, but he has
yeah,
adhesion, which
yeah,
we know is
is
a
from Odd.
false surge. False
Yeah.
surge.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, oh, this feels like, what happened in Hearthstone, like all of our Stormlight drained out and stuff. This feels weird. He takes Tef to his father's clinic, and yeah, Syl kind of appears, and she's like, can't like, there's basically a block on all the springs stuff, and they're like, oh, we're being attacked, basically, we're being invaded. Um, yeah. The sibling, and then we get to Navani. This is where we get basically the sibling's like, hey, I'm getting corrupted. I got a plan to do this. You gotta do this. And she's like, okay, basically. Yeah, Navani's trying to cobble together resistance and figure out what to do, and the sibling's like, hey, what's up? We get yeah. Um it's kind of that. Yeah, they're scrambling to do stuff. And then we get Kaladin.
You mentioned span reads aren't working, right?
No, but yeah, they're not working. So
Yeah, so they're having trouble communicating
yeah,
quickly.
yeah, it's all bad. Um, uh, Kaladin is
Essentially, they got hit with an EMP, like a Sprint EMP,
basically
Fabro EMP.
yeah. Kaladin is the father's clinic. He uh he can't do the shard blade anymore. He's freaking out. He breaks his second oath and just doesn't do much. So that's kind of him for this uh section. He kind of just starts helping people go inside and chill. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the thing. Yeah, yeah, he's just kind of doing stuff. That's kind of him, and that's kind of Chapter.
Yeah. It was fun seeing new things happen and like obviously if once everybody gets powers, they can't like what are you gonna you'd have fights like to introduce a device that blocks the powers makes it more suspenseful and more interesting in a way to have to overcome it instead of just like oh from here on out everybody always fights with superpowers. Might as well not have humans, but um,
I mean, humans don't do anything, so
they yeah, some of them do. I mean, Adolin's human.
they all die.
Yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
here
they do buy some time, but like, yeah, I mean,
in the tower, yeah, they all die. We haven't gotten to that part yet, but yeah. Um, I like uh So when Lorraine, who was an edge dancer, when she collapsed outside the clinic, uh, and the non-radiant nurses evacuated the clinic in case there was a daze water leak. And I like that term, daze water. I was like thinking, it's like, okay, is that like anesthesia gas? Like, like laughing
Yeah,
gas?
yeah.
Because it makes
You,
sense. Daze water.
yeah. You,
Uh,
if you've seen Nosferatu, maybe it's ether.
yeah. Apply more ether. No, you can't apply more.
Yeah, go see Nosferatu. It's very good.
Yes, and also if you want to feel extremely weird and watch one of the strangest movies ever, watch The Lighthouse.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
Oh, you haven't seen that one?
No, I
That was the
started.
first. I watched it when we got home the next day.
Yeah, the only
Started.
other I started it, but then like I was doing something else, and I just never got back to it. It was good though. It was well made from what I've seen.
Oh
Probably the
yeah,
first 20 minutes of it or whatever.
you'll start to feel very strange after a while.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it for that.
How do you feel about Kaladin not helping the worm and then being like at the end, "Oh no, I guess I should have helped," and bug it out? It's kind of funny.
It shows the struggle he's having. That it's not just. So it makes the struggle not just mental in his own head. It makes he's showing the other characters' action towards change.
And also, is this not breaking his second oath?
Mm, No, because
He's not protecting those who cannot protect themselves.
well, he's so
He's letting massive amounts of people die, and the war end, and humanity is getting enslaved.
so look, they know already, don't they, that they're not killing those who don't resist. So it's not that if somebody is he's resisting, they're attempting to protect themselves. Um, and so I don't think it's breaking that second oath.
I kind of think it is, but it's fine. It's it's debatable, but for
Yeah,
me,
I don't think it is.
yeah, he's also at the end when he leaves, he's also leaving all of the fellow Radiants to die, or not to die, to get be in bondage. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. I think this damages Galda's character to me quite a little bit
I don't think so.
because he's very lucky Navani actually does something, and the war is not going to just end. So,
I mean, it's a dire situation, so it's like, okay, well, what are you gonna do? If somebody comes up to you and has a gun to your head, and their fingers on the trigger, and it's like, well, I mean, it's right there, and they're quicker to pull that trigger than you are to do anything else. So are you going to just be like, I have to fight this person, and you're dead, or they promise to let me live, and then I'll get to another point where I fight.
sure, but yeah, he doesn't seek out Navani to see what's up. He's just like, all right, I guess I can't do anything. Just sucks. I wish he would have tried to do something, especially since he does it like 3 chapters from now. And he's like, oh wait, they're gonna take Teft? Maybe I should have fought. Nah. All right, bye. If he would have just stayed like in the occupation, it would have been better. But the fact that he leaves, I'm like, hey, we should have done that later or earlier. But
Oh,
it's fine. I mean, he's gonna redeem
where is he?
himself.
Where is he now? He's
He's
made it to
he's in
he's he's
his
in the clinic.
father's clinic. Yeah,
Yeah, no, nobody has showed up yet.
he knows that the war is happening. He like goes. He takes a scalpel. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go, and he's like, oh no, I can't. He stops.
Well, yeah, but he's not.
He makes an active choice not to join the war effort. He does do that. Doesn't mean,
Yes,
yeah. He's just,
but he's also in the clinic protecting those radiants that are unconscious in there.
I mean, sure. Not really. Not right now. Maybe later.
Right now, he is like he's in the clinic. I mean, Relaine is hiding in the surgery room with the unconscious radiants, but Kaladin is like with his mom and his dad.
Like later in the thing, he's just like he's checking on people. Like, hey, what's up? Yeah. I mean, it's fine. He's gonna swear the fourth idea and come back and save the day. It's just kind of a like if you want me not to like Kaladin, like it's fine. Make the main character basically a coward in this situation and let the world in. I understand he's broken and stuff, and he's gonna become unbroken probably in about 20 chapters. He'll be fine. He'll swear the fourth ideal. He'll come back and snap it. But this was a little annoying to me.
What would his character annoys me a lot. Um, and like one example was after the 2-on-3 or 2-on-4 uh duel where
No, where
he was just
he
afterwards he's
try to
like,
fight
and for my
Emma.
boon, I was like, I fucking hate you, Kellen. And like, why would you do that? Like you're doing good, and then you're just like go on and do something that fucks it all up.
See, I thought it'd been. I think it's because he does it in like 3 chapters. He kills that dude in the thing and like leaves. And he's like, oh wait, they're gonna take Teft. I guess I have to fight now. It's just like, come on. Like if he was like went with Teft and he was like watching over the nice radiance and stuff, and we had like him talking with Navarre, him with Vinley and stuff like that, and like they're like gonna kill all the nice radiance or something, right? And he's like, oh no, and he swears the fourth ideal, like hulks out and like stops everybody. That would be cool. That would make more sense to me than just he's gonna like I guess be on the run and like do I don't really know what he's doing. He's gonna probably meet up with Lift and be like, "Hey, we have a parrot now. That's cool." And then they're gonna do a resistance or something. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know. It just didn't really work for me. I'm just like, thank God Navani's doing something because our other main character is doing nothing.
Yeah, Navani does a lot.
Navani saves the war.
Yes.
But yes, we can move
Move
on
on.
to chapter 40. In for all. This is just a Navani chapter. Yeah, they were going to the map room. They get to the map room. Um, they're like trying to figure out what to do. They're like, they're yeah, shit's bad. Um, and then she's she's getting communications from the sibling, and she's like, oh shit, they have Rabonio. This is bad. It's worse than I thought. Um, and she's like, she's gonna like totally corrupt me, so we need to stop this from happening. And they're like, we need to get all the Stormlight in the world to do this, and we need to go in this other place. Um, yeah. We get long ago before I banished men from these halls. My last boss made me something, a method of protecting me from the dangers I saw in men. He thought it would help me trust again. It did not, but it might stop the fuse from corrupting me further. So we're getting a plan together, and she's also like directing the war and stuff. There's a lot of moving parts, but that's the main big thing is that we're gonna do something to stop the corruption.
And the singers have a a set of shard plate too, and potentially a blade.
And we do meet Teofel, who's a cool battalion lord then.
Tackle for loss,
Yep.
TFL.
Yep. He is gonna die, but he's gonna be pretty badass while doing it.
Yes, I enjoyed this chapter a lot.
Mhm.
Um, I like we don't talk about it every time, but um, in for all, basically, it's like, all right, there's going to be people dying, but this is this is the sacrifice we have to make to for the greater good.
Yeah. For the war. Either we do this or the war's last. Because they make a big point, like without the oath gates, they're kind of screwed. Like they can't rapidly move troops around, they can't, get supplies.
They can't
Uh,
communicate with
they can't really,
Spaniards.
yeah, they can't really do much if Earther is rapidly lost to them. So it's gonna be bad. We can go to chapter 41, the most dangerous. This is Vinley, Navani, and Kaladin. So Vinley and Robernial, they're still they're like going through the tower. They meet up with the pursuer, and he's like, "I have leave now to kill Kaladin." And they're like, "Yeah, I overruled the nine. So what's up?" Um, and
I like how she's just like, yeah,
yeah,
you do whatever you want.
yeah,
I'm ruler now.
yeah. I'm curious when he's gonna show up to kill Kaladin. Because he it feels like a day passed since the battle, and Kaladin's still in his father's thing. So he wasn't searching that hard for Kaladin. But I bet he'd be pretty easy to find.
Yeah, but it's also a huge tower.
True, but you're like, hey, human, where is the high marshal that's and you're like, oh, he's up here. But anyway, he does have to. He doesn't fight him in the battle because he has to go back and murder a bunch of people, which is really cool. But yeah, and she's like, yeah, Finley is there, and she's like, one of the reasons I wanted to come is to like learn about radiant stuff, but I can't really do this and out myself because they're getting messed up. Which it is interesting that the reverse doesn't seem to affect Vinley at all, because she's a radiant now. I guess it's probably because the void sprint helps like protect her or whatever, but I thought that was interesting. Um yeah, then we kind of learn that one of the reasons Ruboniel is there is to basically learn about all the technology that the humans have been making. She's like, we thought we knew it. Like basically, from what I gather, it's like the surges and stuff come so easily to us that we don't innovate. And they've had 4,000 years to innovate. So they have all this crazy stuff. So we need to get this technology because it's rad. We don't have flying ships. We need flying ships. Yeah. Um,
I absolutely love when Vinley uh told the pursuers like, "Hey, you want to kill him when he's like defenseless? Like, how you think that's like honorable?" He's like, "I don't care about honor. I just want to murk the person that killed me. I don't care how I do
yeah, he's
it."
like,
She's like trying to make him feel like, "Hey, you should fight him when he's at his best, so you know you actually did it."
yeah. Um, I wonder if she did that because Leslie likes Kaladin. She's like, yeah, but yeah,
I don't. I think she did that just because she doesn't like the pursuer.
also that, yeah.
Um. Uh. Let's see. Yeah, and like you said, Raboniel like it's for her own interest is to learn about the Fabrials. She doesn't care about the conquest. But she was like, "Hey, we got to take over this tower so we can get all this information about the Fabrials, and then
Yeah.
who knows what she's going to do with it."
It
Uh,
is kind of interesting that how, and now that we find out they're going to be working together, how much of a foil Robario is to Navani. She's like the evil Navani, or
yes,
so
it's like Mew and Mewtwo.
basically, yeah.
And then another thing. So Vire, we find out that Vire is the one that is operating the Oath Gates for the Singers. Um, and then Raboniel says this. Uh, Uh, So it says, that is the reason this war is eternal, Raboniel said. They cannot hold or exploit that which they create, but we cannot stretch far enough to come up with anything new. If we truly want an end, it will take a partnership. So it almost sounds like Raboniel kind of wants the same thing um,
As like Vinley.
as Vinley and, even Kaladin. Like Kaladin doesn't want to just kill
Yeah,
the singers. Um, So it's just bizarre that all these people, I mean, obviously we know it's odium that's causing the fighting, but a lot of our big players want peace. They don't want war. Uh,
yeah,
but they're continuing it. They're perpetuating it. So,
yeah,
and I think that's what Kaladin, I mean, I think that's part of Kaladin's struggle too. But also Kaladin trying to, uh, make his dad proud as well. Uh,
yeah. Calvin also knows that like Odium's in game is basically the destruction of humanity. So there's higher stakes, which his father should also know. His father doesn't know.
oh, there was one other important thing.
Yeah,
Vinley also thinks that Odium has granted Raboniel like her own rhythms.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's
then
interesting.
she was talking about them, and Timber was like, no, like Timber was like buzzing towards her, um, and then Vinley said something about like she was talking about humans, how humans can lie by wearing different clothing. Um, And then Timur was like, well, what's the difference? You hum to a different rhythm than the one you're actually feeling attuned to. And she's like, yeah, well, that's different. Um,
Yeah,
like, okay.
yeah, yeah. Very interesting stuff. So yeah.
Oh, and then Rabonio taking time to note the artwork and how like human art is different from singer art because humans will take pieces and they'll paint them and then put them together, whereas like the singers would find they would have a pile of shells or whatever, and then they would sort them out by color and then see what they could make with those colors and put them together, as opposed to taking what's there, desecrating it, and creating something completely new.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So then we get to Navani. Get this fun like ambush encounter where like the humans like basically catch the listeners into a ambush. And they have like these cool like lightning rods to stop the storm form and stuff.
And they
And
douse them in water.
yeah, and they're basically what we learn later, but the plan basically is for a diversion where the humans are going to try to get to the pillar room while Navani and them go to this opposite way and like infuse the tower with storm. Um, but they need to hold off the advance long enough for the thing to happen. But yeah. Um, then we get Kaladin, and he's like basically just helping out some people get food and being like, all right, just don't do anything. And just kind of chill. He gets uh confronted by a fuse, and he's just like, yeah, I'm just a surgeon, and kind of gets let go. Kind of it for that.
Yeah. Yeah. He basically decide yeah, like he's about like he catches the wrist, like the Stormform Regal was about to hit him, and he reached up and he caught the wrist, and then he's like, oh wait, and then basically just gets beat up for a quick second. Um, shoves him, trips him against the wall, and says, "Watch what you're doing, son." Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So Syl says there are void spin flying around, and she's continuing to pretend to be a wind spin so that they don't realize she's an honor spin or radiant spin. Um, yeah. I forgot to mention this during the Rabonial section, but the mural, just the mural that was depicting cultivation as a tree. I thought that was um, fun and interesting. So
yeah. All right, 42 armor and teeth. We get basically the same POVs. Like he says, basically the same POVs. The rest of this reading. Um, so yeah, we get Navani. Her and her scribes are going to where the sibling told her to go to infuse the gemstone. Um, they're like trying to do it. She gets the Thalen Artifabrians to tell her like their like state secret to infuse gemstones, and it's like you have to hum a certain rhythm and like zaps it in there. So she's like, oh, that makes sense. All right, yeah. So they start doing it.
with tuning forks,
Basically, yeah,
not
yeah,
basically with tuning forks.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Then we get it opens up a chamber with a unlit sapphire. So that's what they're gonna do. They zap it in there. So then we get to Kaladin. Kaladin and Syl go talk to Erlane, and he's like, "Hey, I can't stay here, um, because I'll just be caught, and I probably won't look kindly on me being a traitor. So I'm gonna try to be a spy in their ranks, basically. I can try to hide myself in. I'm in war form, fortunately, so I should be able to. Even though I don't know if there's any war, I probably with the people coming from those states are in war form, I would guess. Um, so yeah, he's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna try to stay alive. You try to stay alive. All right, let's do it. That's kind of what happens there. Um, yeah.
Still is going into a dark place as well.
Yeah, she's becoming sad now too. She's been doing that for a while in this book, so we'll eventually get some more Syl backstory, I'm guessing. It's kind of hinting at that. Um, yeah. Let me get Finley.
Back to
Uh,
Navani.
yes, back to Navani. Scroll down too much. Yeah, they're infusing the sapphire. Um, yeah, and they're like, you need to hurry up. Uh, TFL can only last so long. And she's like, yeah, she's like, this is when we find out that they're sending troops through the honor oath gates with Vire, and they're also getting like attacked from the flying,
Heavenly ones.
the heavenly ones. Yeah, so it's all bad. They're being attacked on like multiple fronts. She basically realizes quickly that she's gonna have to surrender, but they need to do this. Um, then we get yeah, Vinley. Uh, they're watching TFL and they're like, damn, that's really good. They're like really good at fighting. Um, like they're like using all these cool tactics and stuff. They're like chopping off the hands of the deep ones and stuff. They have like really good formations and like, she's like, maybe this will actually work, and that's kind of fun. And then the pursuer comes in because he kind of like zip around his lightning bolt, just like breaks their entire formation, and they all die. They quickly all die. It's pretty rough. And
And this is
she,
where we get the reasoning for the name of the title, chapter title. Which Vinley says that it refers to the way humans fight collectively, almost like a great shelled beast, um, as opposed to now. And in this section, it's mentioned several times that I think by Vinley herself, or maybe Verlaine, but that they're not really fighting in war pairs. The singers are not fighting in war pairs anymore. They're just like en masse.
yeah, which is interesting.
So it's almost like they're becoming more human-like.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, the pursuer like basically drops in. He's like GG. He kills all of them all. And yeah, it's pretty brutal. Um, yeah. Navani's like, we get Navani now. Basically, she's like, all right, well, we gotta surrender. Um, but they finish infusing the sphere and they break it, so they can't undo it basically. And then she's like, all right, we gotta surrender. I tried it, nobody gets killed. Um, we get Vinley, uh she's like watching with Rabonio, and they're like, she's like, that's weird, there's stormlight in the system. What's up with that? And she's like, oh no, something's happened. And then like basically a force field appears around the pillar, which is pretty cool.
I
Um,
really like this chess match between Rabonio and Navani.
yeah. She's like, wow, that's pretty crazy. And she's like, it's basically a force field. And then then somebody comes and is like, hey, Navani Kulin has surrendered your authority. He's like, she's the one I want to talk to. Don't kill her. Um, and then lastly, we get Navani. She formally surrenders to Rabonio, and then Rabonio's like, you're gonna help me uh uh make Fabrials. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna make you help make Fabrials. She's like, but if you do, you'll be close to me and get secrets and see what I'm doing, and then you can tell Dalinar. And she's like, that's a pretty good idea. So sure.
Yeah, and not only that, but she's like, you're probably gonna learn way more from me than I will from you.
Yeah.
I'm like, Navani, you really fell for that?
I mean, she's like a millennia old scientist, so she should know a lot of shit.
Yeah. And then Navani gets stripped of her title as queen. And then uh Kaladin gets his wish that there's no distinction between light and dark eyes anymore. They're all just human.
Oh, just human.
Um, oh yeah. Navani basically was like, I'll surrender to you, but you can't kill me because if you kill me, then you don't have the signal to give to all the humans in the tower to stop fighting.
Mhm. She's like, I don't really care about that, but sure. Um, yeah. One thing I am weirdly interested in is why they needed both Dalinar and Yasna away from the tower. It seems like if they had them in the tower, it'd be like ultimate GG.
Um,
Unless for
I
some reason they can use their powers to their fullest extent, even through the blockage, and they're like different from Kaladin.
so two theories I have about that is one, Dalinar's, we already know him being a bondsmith. He can change things and he's already doing things that they've never seen been done before. Um, so that's a danger. Um, and then Yasna having sworn the fourth ideal already might add a benefit that breaks um the tower's reversed protection.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be something like that. It was just kind of interesting.
Because also, think about
Because like Dalinar
tower.
isn't fighting.
Hmm?
So, like Dalinar doesn't fight, and like even if Yasna could still do her crazy powers, like they would quickly overwhelm her. She would just be dead.
I don't know. Like Yasna's pretty fucking OP, but
Yeah, but they have like hundreds of fused, thousands of troops. Like she would essentially be screwed. Even with all, if their armies were still there, like it was a bad. I mean, the Shard Blades and Bears would help. So maybe they just need the army wing to make it really easy. But like, if they could they would want retrospect. They probably would have wanted one of them, unless they could like reverse the corruption there. Because if they had either one of Yasna and Dalinar, like it is literally GG for the
we
war.
know Yasna has transportation as well.
True.
So she possibly could have just quickly ended up where Raboniel was. And
Yeah.
I feel like she might be a match for Raboniel, surge wise.
Yeah, man.
Uh
I guess it was just to make sure the plan succeeded. They wanted both of them alive.
yeah. Uh couple things. I really enjoyed Navani philosophizing about how the singers use the same tactic. They're using the same tactics that the Alethi did. The surrender and join us because we are stronger than you, and if you surrender, we won't kill you. You'll just join. You'll be underneath us. It's kind of like what the singers are doing now.
Yeah, I mean that's what most conquerors do. But yeah, it is what they did.
Yeah.
Because you can't really. Most people don't, genocide the entire population because it's not productive.
And then one note here, Vinley said the sibling, in Vinley's section, the sibling or the tower runs on a mix of honors and cultivations light. So is there a third light? Because void light is odium
Yeah,
investiture, and then storm light is honors investiture.
yeah. I wonder if what Lift uses is
Yeah, and then we
cultivations.
get there too, and she doesn't think she uses storm light.
Yeah,
So overall fun. Yeah, I enjoyed the action in this section.
oh
Wasn't
yeah,
quite a Sanderlanche, but you know, it was like a mini Sanderlanche.
yeah. It's I mean it's kind of funny. Both this and last book, like basically the middle portion has been a like a loss. We lost Kolar, now we lost
Urithiru.
Urithiru. So it's kind of a if it sticks to the formula of last book, the last like part of this book is gonna be insane. I guess it kind of needs to be to set up the final book of this arc. Um,
Yeah, set the stakes high. Like
yeah,
raise the stakes super high.
exactly. Uh,
Final chapter before the interludes.
Final chapter for the interludes. 43 Men and Monsters. So this is a Kaladin only POV. Um, he's in the clinic. He's like, he gets word that everybody surrendered. Um, oh, one of the conditions of surrender was to turn over all the radiants to
Yeah.
Urbonial, and she said she's not going to kill them. Everybody's still in a coma. So there's that. Yeah. So yeah, he's like, well, this sucks, and his dad and them are like, it's not so bad. And like he's like, you know nothing, Jon Snow. This is the end of humanity. but whatever. It's cool. Um, and then he's like, and then basically the soldiers come. They've heard of that there's a radiant in the clinic. Um, which is Teft, and he's like, oh no, I didn't think this far ahead. They're gonna grab Teft. So he fucking murks a couple of soldiers, and his father's like, "Why did you do that?" He's like, apparently I'm a soldier. What's up? Peace." I was a therapist for 2 seconds. I discovered how therapy works. So I am better than you, father, but I must flee. So he takes Taft and leaves. He's like, peace out. And his father's like, my son's a monster. And he's like, oh, Dad, you're an idiot. I hate his father. His father's so stupid.
Yeah, and poor
His,
Kaladin, he can't make his Asian father happy.
his father is like the most naive person ever existed.
He's the ultimate pacifist, but
He's,
like he's a pacifist for naive reasons.
yeah, like he lives in a culture of constant warfare. His family's gotten screwed over. He knows how things work. He's just like, nah, you're a monster. You killed somebody. It's like, come on, Dad.
Yeah.
His father's so stupid.
I don't know if we had gotten this before. But yeah, his dad pisses me off.
His
Uh,
father really reminds me of The Way of the Leaf in Middle Time,
oh yeah.
where it's like, it's a cool idea, but y'all are stupid.
Yes. I don't know if they touched on it before, but the storm form regals, like when you touch them, it's almost like touching a electric eel.
So far, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, the Kaladin killing this regal with just a scalpel
Yeah,
was badass. Kaladin is a badass.
yes.
Um, even if we, you know, don't like that he's a sad boy.
Yeah.
But
I do stand. I think I would have liked it better if he would have stayed and like watched over the Radiance and like had like him and Vinley and Navani and Robario, like they all interacted and like a certain trigger would happen to where it's like, oh, I have to fight to like save all these like unconscious Radiants or something. I think that would make me more happy than what this is. Because this is just like, would you like Kaladin? Like his father's really stupid. Kaladin's also really stupid. He's like, oh wait, they're gonna take my friend and an occupation, and he's like one of the most powerful people there. Of course, that's gonna happen.
so the yes, Kaladin's actions are stupid, but he's trying to please his father, and he's trying to please his oaths, and he's trying to find that middle ground for it. And that's where he's making these dumb decisions.
Yeah,
His father has no excuse for being as dumb as he is about wanting to be a pacifist. But I can understand Kaladin's decisions. He's like, oh, I said I'd be a pacifist. I said I wasn't going to be a soldier. I've got to stick to this, even though I want to fight. But I said I was going to do this. I made, that is one of his oaths. That essentially is one of his oaths. He's like saying like, I'm not doing, I'm doing this as part of the war to help protect and to defeat Odium. Um, and he's trying to stick to that. But then he gets pushed to a point where he's like, no, my dad's stupid. Yeah, I have to fight. Like I can't not fight.
yeah,
Um, so him make ultimately at the end here, making that decision to fight was the right thing to do. Um, so
maybe, yeah,
uh, he does say he mentioned that Teft is actually more is closer to consciousness than the other Radiants are. Um, So like I don't know if it's like and he wonders if it's like the Windrunner oaths, or if it has something to do with their proximity to honor. I could see it being like, since they have adhesion, which is that false surge, only half of their only half of them were affected, and then maybe the distance their sprint was from them at the time that it happened, because like Syl was near Kaladin.
Yeah,
Um,
because they've all sworn the third oath, so it wouldn't be the oaths because they all have shard blades.
right, but no, he was saying if it was something particular to the Windrunner oath, and like versus the Stone or the other Radiance oaths.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think of when Cowden's not unconscious.
Oh yeah,
Well, it's because he has more investiture than everybody else, right?
it it could be more investiture.
'Cause
Or
that's what
it could be his closeness to uh, the
because doesn't
fourth
isn't
ideal.
that what Raboniel says or somebody says? Like if you have a lot of investiture, you won't pass out or whatever. So I'm pretty sure like
But
Zio was just chilling.
potentially, well, Zio is not even a radiant, so
Yeah, but yet if it
something
like
affecting the Spren. It's
yeah,
something affecting the bond with the Spren. So it's not
but it's like
affecting.
yeah, it's like no, it's like infecting their like investitures, right? Or their spread as well. I don't know.
Well, no, it wouldn't be the investiture itself. Otherwise, uh the singers, the fused, wouldn't be working.
Yeah, but it's like a reverse of what was happening with the fuse, right? And like the fuse don't have spread,
They have void Spren.
do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure,
Mm, I don't know.
but they have a surge. They have a bond. They have a bond to be able to use the surge. And so whatever was there in the tower affected their bond for their surges.
I thought that they were basically Spren that were in because they bond they go into the gym hearts of the the people that are inhabiting. I didn't think they had a spread because like Regals have a spread, they have void spreads. I didn't think Fused had a spreads. They were like something different. But maybe I don't know. I could have misread it.
Some of it is still confusing, but yeah.
Yeah, unless like their souls merged with a spread, and that's why they're also called fused. So they have like permanent powers, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just a little weird because they're.
Don't look it up because it's
I'm
probably
not. I'm not gonna look it
some
up.
shit.
I'm not gonna look it up. But like their souls come from Braves and like go inside and inhabit the bodies of singers, and they already have powers. And then you have the Void Spren that come and make regals. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out probably.
Yeah.
We don't have. I don't think we've ever had a POV of a fuse. So,
No, I don't think so either.
hopefully that'll happen. Anyway, we can move on to the interludes unless you got anything else.
No, we'll just touch briefly on the epigraphs. Basically, Harmony, one of the other shards, is responding to Hoyd's letter for helping with Odium. We get a lot of information about other shards that Harmony knows of. And then you get a lot of talk about the the way a vessel of the shard interacts with the shard itself and how they can influence each other, and that he
That
doesn't
stuff's a little confusing.
yeah he doesn't seem to think that the vessel of the shard and the odium and odium himself are necessarily aligned with the same goal. So there's some friction there that he's kind of mentioning, like maybe y'all can uh appeal to that the vessel, which is kind of what Shah Anat wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
She has that same idea of separating the vessel from the shard.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because it's a little confusing. There's like it's like the same words. Like shard is also like the avatar of Odium or avatar of any of the shards, and also of like the shard itself, and they kind of use it interchangeably. So it can be a little confusing sometimes. But but yeah, that's kind of what they.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, and it's like cool ties to Mistborn shit. If you've read Mistborn, you're like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
it's basically like a lot of letters, like maybe I'll do something, and that's it's kind of funny. They're all kind of like that. Maybe something will happen. Also, Mistborn shit. Oh, cool.
Yeah. There's even some nods to Mistborn era too.
I read it too.
So if I'm not going to point them out, but if you've read Mistborn era 2, um, then
Maybe
you
some.
might look for the nods, try to figure out what they are. If you haven't read Mistborn era 2, then you can read it and then try to figure it out too.
Yeah, so maybe some Era 2 stuff will start appearing in these books.
I really do like era 2. I know you haven't
I
read
I
it.
need to read it. I just when I got to it, I was just kind of like, I'll read it later. I just never read it up.
But now
I
all
had
4 of the books are out, so you can.
Yeah, I think I have at least the first one, maybe the first three. I thought it was a trilogy. It's not a trilogy, it's a quadrilogy.
There's 4 books. It originally was supposed to be 3. Well, anyway, this era wasn't even originally planned.
Oh,
But he had an idea and he wrote something and he goes, you know what? I have more to tell in this. So he wrote 3 more books with it.
that's
Um,
fun.
but lots of cool shit in it.
Yeah,
It reminds me of like Sherlock Holmes and uh,
yeah, because it's like 1800-ish era.
yeah, it's like Wild West.
That's fun.
So there's
Yeah.
guns. There's guns. The world of Scadrial has evolved. Um,
Hmm.
Characters from the Era 1 are now uh, the basis of new religions and such.
But
Um, so that doesn't really give any spoilers away, but um,
no, stuff happens in Era 1 of Mistborn.
yes.
And if anyone hasn't read Era 1 of Mistborn, you should. I think it's the best shit he's done so far.
Yeah, and I have started in my off reading, Well of
Yeah.
Ascension.
Now that you started Well of Ascension, do you kind of see where I was getting at with
The
uh
Watcher?
yeah, the Watcher and
Yeah.
Ven and I don't know if that's gonna happen because Westry hasn't really done anything yet. And but like maybe Kaladin will meet her on the run or whatever he's gonna be doing, which would be fun.
Yeah, I
Uh
just completely had forgotten about that character.
yeah.
When you brought it up, I was like, what? And then immediately in the first 2 chapters, it's like, oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can move on to the interludes. Interlude 4, Vire, or aka Moash. Um so yeah, it's kind of funny. Moash is trying to do Adolin's technique of throwing a shard blade. He's like, I don't know how he did it. Well, this is weird. We get more confirmation that the shard his Adolin's shard blade's been coming back sooner than the 10 heartbeats, which is fun. Showing more of the connection of Maya. Um, let's see. Uh,
He's with Kin.
yeah, Kian, who was one of the Parshinni that were with him during all the stuff. And they're like, I'm gonna peace out. Because I don't want to fight anymore. And he's like, okay. I'm kind of sad. But not
It,
really, because I have
in
all my pains taken away.
in this section, it's just funny to hear Vire, like can express like, hey, why are you so obsessed with Kaladin? Like, and Vire's like, no, I'm no longer chained to anything.
Yeah.
Odium takes all my pain away, and I'm free to do whatever. It's like, who the fuck are you kidding, dude? Like,
Yeah.
You're obsessed.
Yeah, and Odium's like, Odium comes to him and is like, you're you're kind of weird. I wasn't expecting you to be like this. And this is where he kind of orders him to do the Oath Gate, because this is before the invasion. Um, and yeah, he's like, Odium is worried about the effect that Kaladin has. He's like, I've taken away everything, but Kaladin is still there. So he's like, you need to kill Kaladin. Kaladin needs to die.
Except not necessarily like so Odium wants Vyre to like get Kaladin to be vulnerable to Odium.
yeah,
Um, so that Odium can start showing him visions and like break him and essentially I think Odium wants to use him as his champion
yeah, because he's like,
for Vyre, which is funny.
yeah, Moash is like, Kaladin can't be killed. What are you talking about? He's like, well, all right, well, we're gonna start screwing with his dreams and make him even sadder boy, and he'll come begging to me.
Um,
We find ways to make him jump, which is gonna be murdering his entire family. That's my guess.
there you go. I don't remember.
I don't know. That's
Uh,
that's my theory.
it's a good theory.
Yeah.
I thought I thought Odium bringing Vyre into Visions is a good parallel of Stormfather bringing Dalinar into Visions.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Yeah.
let's move on to Lift.
It's interesting that there are holes in Kaladin's soul, so those will probably get filled when he gets his fourth oath or something, which is gonna be fun. Lift, yes, obviously Lift POV. Uh, she's an Erythera. This is before the invasion and before the drainage of power. It's funny. She's still like she's in like her little hidey hole. She's like found a little place to like stay. She still steals food from people, even though there's like leave it out for her to steal. She's kind of annoyed by it. Um, and we get a little bit more of her backstory. It's pretty sad. She wanted to stay the same because that was the last time her mother saw her, so she wouldn't recognize Lift if she saw her again. She wanted to stay that um that way. So we get some more of Lift's past, which I hope we get more of.
You read you read
Dancer.
um God, what's the name of the damn book? The first King Killer Chronicles. The
That's the
Wise
one.
Man's Fears is the second book.
No, I didn't read no, Name of the Wind.
Name of the Wind. You didn't read it? Okay.
I started it wasn't that good. And then he's never gonna finish it, so I was like, why bother?
It is really fucking good. But anyway, yeah, he's probably never going to finish the third book. If he does, you should read the series. They're really fucking good. But Lift reminds me of a character in there in the King Killer Chronicles, Ari. Um, but since you haven't read it, I don't need to discuss it in detail. But for anybody listening,
Yeah,
yeah,
I probably would like it. It didn't grab me, and then also it's never gonna get finished. So I was like, all right, I'm just not gonna read it. I got other shit to do.
they're really good, and there's so many theory crafting going on.
If he ever finishes the books, I'll probably read it. Just like if George R. R. Martin ever finishes books, I'll read 5 and 6 and 7.
Yeah,
Oh, actually, 4, 5, and 6. That series is a very good trilogy. You just stop after
you never read book 4?
no. Book 4 pissed me off. I could tell you about it now. So
Go back to
I'll just do this real fast. Book 4 of A Song of Ice and Fire is a trash book, and it killed the series for me because basically book three is one of the best fantasy novels ever written. And book four was like, hey, wait 6 years, and all the good characters are not going to be in it. And you're like, well, shit. And also, we're going to spend time with fucking Brienne of Tarth doing nothing and a bunch of other dumb shit. You're like, all right, cool. I'm going to read your books again. Bye. And then he wrote one more book and never did anything. So there's that. But books one through three, The Song of Ice and Fire, are very, very good.
So did you read book four or no?
I read the Arya and Sansa parts, but never anything else.
Okay.
It's not a good book. I don't care about uh the stupid Greyjoys and I don't care about yeah, it's just Brienne of Tarth. Oh my god. Why I don't need a POV of her. Ugh, those books are so bad. Anyway,
I
Lift.
left.
So yeah, Lift is just chilling. She sees a red chicken. She's like, oh, that's a red chicken. Oh wait, there's a green chicken attacking him. So apparently Mraize has an enemy or some shit. I don't know. She's
How
like,
long did
ah,
it take you to realize there's something special with the bird?
what do you mean?
Like, so when I was reading, like, it was funny on the yeah, I read on the iPad. And so
Yeah.
like before I turned the page, it was just like, oh, and she watched these two birds in the sky fight each other. And then, like at that point I was like, is there significance to the color of these birds? And I was like, I'm pretty sure one of these is Mraize's. And that was before she like it actually she followed the birds around. Um,
Yeah. So the red chicken loses to the green one to Mraize's chicken. And she like heals it. She's able to the tower goes off, she loses her powers, but she's still able to heal. Kind of like how Kaladin's still able to lash. Um, but she's not able to be awesome. And she's like, all right, well I got a chicken now. And then she goes and like follows the chicken to its master, who is this guy we never won't know who's dead. And Maryse is there, and Maryse is like, I'm gonna hunt you now. And that's the end of it.
yeah, there was let's see. Oh, yeah, so several things about Lyft. So Rock's son Gift is the one that has been leaving food out for her. Um,
Little crush.
yeah, she so Wendell asks her about what she asked the Night Watcher. And Lift was like, well, I actually saw Cultivation and not the Night Watcher. And Wendell's like, huh, Cultivation is getting more and more involved in things lately and not letting Night Watcher just do things. Of course, Lift can't remember her exact wording.
Yep.
Uh, Lift is also having trouble with the fact that she's growing. So it's like she's like taping down her boobs. Um, and then she has been marking her height on the wall as well to track her growth because she's getting taller. Um, Wendell makes fun of her for talking to a chicken, which is funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, the description of the man. So, the man murdered the bird snuggles up and makes sad sounds. Says, I believe I've seen him before. Um, is this Lift that says this?
Let's see.
It was either Lift or Wendell. I believe I've seen him before. A minor Alethi functionary, though his eyes are different now. Curious. Look at his fingers. Tanned skin with bands of lighter skin. He was wearing jewelry once.
So maybe
Somebody took his jewelry.
maybe a ferrochemist.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Can't think of anyone else who uses jewelry.
Yeah, I feel like he's not. I mean, the fact that she says he was this, but his eyes look different now.
Could you use ferrochemy to change the color of your eyes?
you could use it for a lot of things, but I think like a lot of people when they go to a different world, they look different. Like they can make themselves look different and sound different based on the connection they have with investiture. So I don't know the limits of it, but there's like with connection, capital C, you're able just like Dalinar uses it to translate. Um, a lot of them will make themselves look differently as well.
Yeah,
Um,
weird. I don't
tan
think.
skin with
I mean,
bands of lighter skin.
in era one of Mistborn, there's no chickens, so I don't know about era two. You break this.
The chickens are not from Mistborn. Um,
Okay.
chickens are in. There are chickens in Sixth of the Dusk, which is a short story.
Cool.
Um, so I think that's where these chickens are from.
Well, Liv now has a chicken. She has her
Yes,
own. She has her own church,
yes. Um,
and actually, Lift is just dead. So, um, goodbye, Lift. I can't really see how she gets away from Marays without any powers.
yeah.
So I think Lift is just dead. Rip Lift. Um,
Oh, and this, I'm pretty sure Lift has Wit's flute as well. Uh, this she was going through her things, and this is an old flute that Wendell said looked strange.
how would she have gotten that? I mean, yeah, that does sound like it, but
Did she end up at
it was left at Sadius's war camp in book one. So maybe,
would have been book two whenever um Shallan went into Sadius's manor because it was in Sadius's manor.
was it?
Yeah, it was in Sadius's manor, I know,
Oh, man.
but
Maybe the Ghost Bloods grabbed her or something.
yeah.
I don't remember it being in Sadius in there. That's fine. All I remember is it was at the work camps, and then when he got free, like they didn't take any of their shit, and he just forgot about it. That's all I remember of the fiddle or flute or whatever. But yeah, that's interesting if she has it.
Yeah.
It was a Chekhov's flute that never came up, so
There's got to be something with it, so.
yeah. Yeah. Then last part, a boon and a curse. This is
Oh,
Taravangian.
did
Yeah.
you notice that Taravangian's icon? It's it's almost like a king or like a card, a face card in a
Yeah.
playing deck, where one is upside down and the other is right side up. But one is a happy, smart Taravangian, and the other is a sad, passionate Taravangian.
Yeah, that's cool.
So anytime you see it, you'll know because if you go back to the one, the interlude in the first section and look at his icon there, it's the smart one, and here it's the sad one.
Okay. Interesting. I never, yeah, I don't pay too much attention to the iconography. I kind of look at them, oh, that's cool.
Well, on the thing here on the iPad,
Yeah.
you can actually like zoom in, watch.
Mm.
Let's see. So,
Yeah.
so one he has a sword, the other he has a like a
That makes,
vine.
yeah, Vine.
The vine, his eyes are like sad. If I turn this upside down, it's gonna realign the
Yeah.
picture. But his eyes aren't sad on this one.
Hmm.
So, but yeah,
Would you be sad in the sword one because he's always when he learns empathy, he's always sad, and then when he's smart, he's like he doesn't give a shit.
No, this is the empathy one. The one that's right
Okay,
side up now.
fine,
Now
yeah,
the vine.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
when he's smart, he has no emotion.
true. Yeah, but he's with his armies. He's fixing to betray Dalinar. He's just kind of waiting for the order, and he's like, um, oh shit. He's like, all right, I should be happy about like saving a little city, but I should I should save more basically. And he's also thinking like he's like trying to figure out like why the diagram and stuff like and not see Renarin.
Renarin?
Yeah, and he's like, what's going on? And then he's actually kind of smart because Odium comes and talks to him, and he's able to trick Odium into showing him the diagram again, which is cool.
Yeah,
And he's
that was fun.
yeah, so like it goes to show kind of like if you're stupid, you can still do like smart stuff, and how like naturally intelligent Taravangian is. Um, and he's also like he's starting to realize that like Odium is not omniscient. He doesn't know everything because he thought like Dalinar was gonna be his champion and stuff like that. So like he doesn't know everything, and he sees in the diagram splayed out that like the for some reason, guessing because of Shah-Not, the corrupting of Spring or something, the proximity of Renarin um, to everybody makes Odium's vision cloudy. And he sees that since he's next to Dalinar, his name is also cloudy. And he's like, all right, I will fight. But he has to like do it uh, sneakily so that Carbronth is not destroyed.
And he also figures out that Seth is with
Yes.
with Dalinar too.
Yeah.
Um,
And then he continues on the plot to betray Dalinar because he needs to play along with Odium. Yeah, so that's kind of that.
Taravangian is still a fucking asshole, though.
Well, yeah,
Even though he's still like we see him still have hope. Basically, like he's like, okay, Odium isn't just 100% God. He's fallible, and it gives Taravangian a little more hope as opposed to like, oh my God, this guy, he knows everything. We can't stop him. He's powerful and all this. So it's just like, it's pointless to fight against him. Here, he's like, oh, here's the chance, but I still have to do this. So it really makes Taravangian more of a complicated character than originally made out to be.
yeah.
Like
So
it kind of goes up and down. You're like, oh, he's simple. Oh, he's complicated. Oh, he's simple. Oh, he's complicated.
yeah, Taravangian is the ultimate ends justify the means guy. He's like, all right, I'm gonna save humanity. I don't care if I torture a bunch of people to get death rattles and like kill half the kings in the country and blah blah. Start a civil war and Yakavet and all this other stuff. It's gonna save humanity. And he's like, oh shit, Odium is God. I have all right. I can at least save a city. So he does that deal. And he's like, oh wait, he's a god, but he's not omniscient. So maybe I can save the world again. And that's just current plan. We'll see how it ends up in the end. But yeah, Terramagin's interesting. Hopefully he won't get executed by Dalinar. But I guess now that he knows being close to Renarin, he can like say stuff to Dalinar. He might be able to explain his plans.
Maybe so.
Maybe so. Yeah. But yeah. Then in we now have part 3, Songs of Home. We're gonna get Kaladin, Navani, Dalinar, Vinley, Eshonai, which is crazy because she's dead. It'd be weird to have flashbacks because I think this is when we're gonna have the flashbacks. I mean, I would
Yes,
hope. It's,
the second chapter in this section is a flashback. I'm pretty sure.
okay, so yeah. Um, Yasna, which is gonna be fun, and Renarn, which is also gonna be fun. So we get no Shades Mark group. Um,
We get the battle in Aesir, and we get the tower.
yeah, basically.
So
Yeah, because yeah, and then we get Vinley, who will be in the tower, and Eshonai, who will be in the past and probably in the tower because she's a fuse now. That's my
uh,
only. That's my only explanation of why we're getting. Unless it would be weird if it's only flashbacks
why?
because she's dead. So like, it is just us getting the information. Unless it's flashbacks and ends with her like soul awakening and Braze and like going back to talk to Vinley or some shit like that. So Ish and I's alive. Hashtag resurrection. Yeah, fun stuff. What do you know the splits?
Yep. So our next week we will be reading from chapters 44 to 58.
We have 14 chapters.
Yep. Um, and I think so. Then we're gonna do 59 through interlude 9. Um, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and split up part 4 into two. Just because I like these a little shorter format.
Yeah,
It's more relaxing
it is.
instead of getting to close to hour 3 and going, oh my God.
Yeah, you have to start being like, all right, this happens. All right, cool.
And like today, we didn't rush through anything. Like we just went off on several tangents too. So
Yeah, you get to theorize more. Or I'm completely new. You remember less and less. And then it's gonna be really fun at book 5.
I'm like a spren.
Yeah, I'm starting to bond you, Brandon. I'm starting to remember.
I'm starting to remember more and more. But it is funny. I start to remember as I read more. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this plot line is happening, but I still don't remember. Like I'll remember how the end of something is, but I'm like, I don't remember how the fuck it got there.
Yeah.
So, um,
Um,
yeah,
do you
I,
think so? The heralds are at the tower. Do you think they're gonna murder the rest of the heralds?
two of the heralds are at the tower.
Yeah, two of the
No,
heralds. Do you think are hey Moash, we got more gods for you to kill.
I mean, if Moesh comes across them, but I mean, if he kills them with that knife, I don't think they resurrect.
Sure.
So here's a theory. Just thought of it, and the reason why they don't resurrect is that knife leaches ooh, is it an aluminum knife? And does aluminum so okay. We know in Mistborn what aluminum does.
And it does it in here too.
And when you stab somebody with an aluminum knife, does it remove all their investiture and kill them? And so if they're not invested at that point and they die, I think they die permanently. So I wonder if that blade is aluminum. But I think it was the description is there of that blade, and I think it was like gold.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's an alloy of aluminum or some shit.
Well, the alloy of aluminum is duralumin,
Oh,
which
yeah, that's true.
does the opposite. Uh,
God, we need that and some fat rails. Go crazy. That's how you power a fucking mech. Let's get duralumin.
yeah, so yeah. Well, what's funny is it's not aluminum isn't even listed in. the Ars Arcanum of Well of Ascension. So, yeah, chapters 44 through 58 for next week. Keeping the same pace. It's fun. It's enjoyable.
Yeah,
I haven't been spoiled for Wind and Truth yet.
I haven't either.
So, we're doing good on there. We need to convince Chris not to go ahead and read Wind and Truth until we get there. Um, just for the sake of him not knowing more than we do.
It would be funny though. It would be kind of funny him listening to this podcast and be like, "Their theories are all wrong. I know everything."
Yeah. Um, considering we're the ones that got him into it.
Yeah.
Uh, Dustin should be one reading this too.
Well, convince him.
I've tried. And he's
Yeah.
like, ah, I'm not gonna start it until I finish reading Wheel of Time. I'm like, well, when are you gonna finish that? Well, talk to Lance. Well, no, yeah, talk to Lance. I'm like, Lance is on book 6.
I'll say these are a way easier to read than Will.
These are way easier to read.
Like, it's weird. I've been reading other books, and like Sanderson, it doesn't feel like reading. It feels like it's like downloading into your brain. You're just kind of like, like I read this shit so fast
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because it's just like, like it doesn't feel like reading. It's like like reading other books. You're like, oh, this I'm like actually reading. This is just like, all right, I read it.
Yeah. But when you start to reread like me and you like thinking about little details like, oh, is that connected to this? Ooh, is this ooh, like at first you're like, it's like, okay, this is a fantasy thing. Okay, that's odd. But like there's odd things in fantasy. So maybe we'll find out about it in this world, but it's those little Easter eggs that connect to the other Cosmere books, and you're like, oh, and figuring those out is fun.
Yeah, and it's like well written stuff. I'm not trying to bash it. It's just like oddly an easy read. Because like Wheel of Time is it's not a hard read, but it's not an easy read. Where this is just like I just read it. It's like and like all of this shit's like that. It's kind of the style. It's just kind of fascinating.
No, no, I agree with you. It's easy to get caught up in it. So, all right. Well,
Yeah, it's probably why he's so popular.
yeah, and I think he does. I mean, he collaborates with people who have specialty like knowledge in certain areas. So he makes it tries to make it as believable as possible and then make it easy for people to follow. So, well, if you made it this far, thank you. Thank you for whoever is liking every video on YouTube channel. That's cool. You're the only one. We love you for it. Um, you are Spartacus. Um, yeah. Go ahead. If you made it this far, like, follow, subscribe, share, leave a rating and review if you want. If you don't want to, then cool. Um, visit our sponsor, Mudcat Whiskers. Remember to use code paperweights at checkout. Save yourself 15%. And that's our way of or your way of telling them you came from us. So and we will see you next week. Bye.